Hello and welcome to the British Dapper, and today we're debating corduroy versus tweed. Style tips for suits, jackets and trousers. So today we're just going through my thoughts about the use of corduroy versus tweed. And we're looking at suits, jackets, blazers if you like, and also trousers, and the virtues of both tweed and also corduroy. And we're going to give some style ideas for the use of corduroy in suits, jackets and trousers. So when we look at corduroy as a material, there are some definite pros that you should consider when it comes to wearing corduroy. And now it's considered to be that 1970s geography teacher look, but to be fair, of late it's become very popular and it has some very good virtues that I want to talk to you about today. So the first thing we want to talk about, I think, is the unique texture of the material itself. So it's ribbed material, and those little lines, those ribs, they're called wales. And depending on the fineness of them, the gaps, how many you can fit in 1 inch. So for example, you might find very chunky cords, which are very casual, very much relaxed look. They might be 8 wales to 1 inch, whereas the much more finer, refined ones are 14, 16 wales per inch. And they're much more refined, smoother looking material, and maybe they are looking a little bit more towards the more business casual end. So the materials that are used are very much velvet-like in texture, and they do catch the eye really well. And I would say that something to consider with them is the colour range as well. They do come out in a lot of very rich and sumptuous colours, and that velvet texture comes through in those colours. It is a very distinct look, and also something to consider is that it's much more of an eye catcher, if you like, than typical wool or cotton trousers. So something else to consider is about the warmth of the material. So it's a great material to use in the autumn and winter periods. It is designed to hold in the warmth. It's very thick material, and it's one of those materials that gives you that comforting wrap-round feeling when you put it on. So it's thick, insulating, and ideal for those colder, cooler periods. So something else to consider about that corduroy is its durability. It is quite a thick and robust material in the first place, and it is tough and long lasting, and it wears quite well unless you really do snag it on something that's going to tear it or damage it. And even then it's quite difficult to do that, and it makes it great for that casual look. So something else about corduroy is the versatility of it. So it can be dressed up or dressed down, and it works well in that smart casual look. Great for that countryside look, and depending on the fineness of the actual corduroy, for example the wale number, it can look very chunky and casual, or quite refined and businesslike almost, for the town or city look. And that can make it, as a material, very versatile for different occasions. So something else to consider with that material is the comfort. And corduroy is a soft, malleable material. It's not harsh or stiff in any way, and it gives you that comfy wrapped around feeling, as I've mentioned earlier. But it is such a really versatile material, and it does give you that warmth through the actual material, and it's very laid back when worn. compared to some stiffer fabrics. I touched on this earlier, but the variety of colours with corduroy is you can go through those burnt orange colours, those browns, sand, fawn colours, off-whites, all the way through to burgundies, bright reds, mustard colours, golds, and light and dark greens, olive greens, all the way through to those forest greens. So the world's your oyster if you're looking for a particular colour. So that goes really well with trousers, or even in a jacket, or the overall look in a suit. Now I touched on this earlier, but the retro appeal is something that we need to consider. It's a great material and it does hark back to the 70s, but it's still a very popular material even this day and age, and it does have its revivals from time to time, and it can give an outfit that nostalgic feel and yet still be fashionable. So it is a distinctive style, and let's be honest, and but it can look really good when pulled together. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the full suit version, and you can get suits in 2-piece or 3-piece suits even, and it is a very lovely look in its full suit ensemble. It is quite a relaxed, so I would say it's more of a casual rather than formal look, but it is still a very, very cool look when pulled together with a nice tie, decent pair of shoes. And let's be honest, if you had the suit, you could potentially wear the jacket as a separate or the trousers as a separate. But I'd be very careful when you do that to not wear one more than the other, because they do fade and wear differently. So something to consider though, if you're going to wear your corduroy trousers from a suit separately, then the next day wear the jacket, so that you always get an equal wear on those items. But corduroy is great for a number of different things, because if you do buy separate trousers, they're great with a jacket or a jumper, very relaxed look, go really well with brogue shoes. And also the other thing to consider is the corduroy jacket. Goes great with a pair of chinos, and a great look overall, and can be worn either with a tie or without a tie, and still a very cool look. So these qualities I've just talked about, they are what makes corduroy suits, jackets and trousers great choices for anyone that wants to stand out and look a little bit different, but not only that, wants to remain warm and comforted, stylish, and have some durability. Now that we've looked at the qualities of corduroy, it's only fair that we do the same for tweed. So here are some of the key pros to wearing tweed, whether that be a suit, jacket, or even trousers. So first of all, I'd say it's a classic style. It's something that's considered to be quite a sophisticated look. It's very much a traditional look. You see it a lot in the country wear, and it is very robust and tends to give an air of refinement. So the second on the list to consider is durability. Now, tweed is made of tightly woven wool, and it depends where it comes from. You have Donegal tweed, or Harris tweed is one of those key ones that most people are aware of, but it's incredibly durable and resistant to wear and tear. And something else to consider is that it will last you for years if treated well, and it is a rugged material, so it does actually last a long while before it breaks down. But one of the other characteristics is that as it ages, it actually does still give you another look. it gains character with age. So something else to consider is the warmth from tweed. Now, with tweed being wool and tightly woven, it does give an element of insulation, and depending on the thickness of the material depends how much warmth it will retain within the actual fibres of the wool and trap those layers of warm air against the body. Wool by its very nature makes good bedfellows for cooler weather and provides that little bit extra insulation at that time of the year, and is ideal for those autumn winter wears. So something to look at is that whilst tweed is not 100% water resistant, if you have a light shower or a little bit of drizzle, then it will be able to accommodate that to a point. Bear in mind that this material has been used for centuries in the countryside and very much in the hunting, shooting and fishing world, so it has got a pedigree in being used in conditions that are not ideal, but it does dry out quite easily and still offers that layer of warmth despite being slightly damp. So when it comes to the versatility of a tweed jacket, it can spread between the very casual to, for example, the office environment. It's really great with a pair of jeans, or it could be dressed up quite easily with a pair of chinos or wool trousers, and it is still a very good look even this day and age, and it's suitable for work, social events. Some people even wear tweed for weddings, albeit I'd be a little bit cautious about the time of the year when you're having your wedding, whether you really want to wear tweed in midsummer as an example. They come in a variety of patterns, and you can have them window paned, you can have them very subtle colours or very bright colours in the window panes, and you get several different layers as well potentially. Donegal tweed tends to be more in flex, and you can get some really lovely colours in that, some golden hues, reds, purples coming through. But the tweed itself has different variations of colour as well. So for example, you can have grassy tones, you can have forest green colours, or even touching on blues and oak colours as well. So it does cover a wide spectrum of colours. So something else to consider is it's eco-friendly. Being 100% wool, it is, whilst it has to be washed and prepared and then obviously woven, there are very little chemicals involved in that process. The other thing to consider is that it's biodegradable as well. So even in its final years and final life, it is easily disposed of, whereas synthetic materials don't break down very easily. Something else to consider is its insulating and breathability. So whilst it is quite an insulating material, it does allow a little bit of air movement through the material itself, which is, when it gets a little bit warmer, then at least you can get that circulation going around the body and through the material itself. And it can help with circulating that air to reduce the risk of overheating. So when it comes to a tweed suit, jacket or trousers, very versatile material, great looking items, can be paired with a pair of chinos or a pair of jeans, and they can be dressed up with a tie or a shirt, or relaxed with no tie and paired with a pair of brogue shoes. You have really a great look that's classic and rugged and lasts you a lifetime. I was asked the question by somebody, do they choose a corduroy jacket or a tweed jacket? It's a very difficult question to answer because I've got a lot of tweed jackets. I haven't got a corduroy jacket. I'd love to have one, but I just don't have the room for it. And I would say if you had the choice or the ability, I would choose both. Whilst I find tweed very easy to use in a day-to-day environment, not dissimilar, a corduroy jacket would do the same. And when it comes to wearing a suit, for example, a tweed suit's great for giving you that insulation, that extra layer of warmth, and it goes really well in the country scene, whereas a corduroy jacket goes really well in that town, city environment, giving you something of a different look. And depending on the number of wales in the inch, depends how thick or fine the material is, depends on the finish you're going to go for. But in a general day-to-day wear, I'm quite often pairing a pair of corduroy trousers with a tweed jacket, and tweed waistcoats go really well as a separate with a pair of chinos or a pair of jeans over a shirt. And so I would say that both materials are great for that spring, autumn or winter wear. So let me know what you think. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give us a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe, then please feel free to do so. We have a Buy Me a Coffee page, so if you'd like to make a contribution to the channel, then please feel free to do so. We also love constructive comments, so if you'd like to make some, jot them down below. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. And if you've got a question you'd like to pose to us or you'd like an answer to, then why not jot it down? We'll try and answer your question for you. We also like ideas for future videos, so if you want to make a contribution and make a suggestion about future content, then please, again, jot it in the notes below and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. The next video could be something that you've recommended or suggested. So until next time, take care.